What are the mysteries of three? All right, that is the question for number 136 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. If you want to get a free listing of all 144 of those fractal faculties, just put your name and email in the comment section. I'll send it out to you for free. You can also hone your Tree of Life skills by watching my video out on YouTube that is called Tree of Life, an Introduction. It's just 10 minutes long. Should get you up to speed enough to be able to watch all these videos in this series. And if you want to go deeper, you can invest $10 that you send to me through Cash App or Venmo, and I will then send you a copy of my book, The Mass Tree, which is a fairly short introduction on Tree of Life. I think it's about 65 pages. And, it'll hopefully get your juices flowing on Tree of Life, get you motivated a little bit to learn it more thoroughly. And, Tree of Life is something that pays you back if you put the time in. But you do have to really get it to the point where it's a little bit in your rote memory, where where you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about what sphere corresponds to what faculty. You know that. If you get it to the point of automaticity on just on the basics, then that's when you're able to really take off with the tree, because it will download into your body and it will then take all the stuff that you've learned over your whole life and it will organize it. And then you'll have an organized mind, which is, I think, important, especially, for people who may have issues with ADD, or people who may have issues with memory, faulty memory. It helps. And people who have stressful lives that are, where you have a lot of demands put on you. You have a lot of things coming from all directions. The Tree of Life helps you to kind of just manage all that stuff, and without having to really put too much effort in, once you have the structure there. Okay, now today we're looking at 136. Now you remember the Tree of Life is basically a map of our consciousness. Each one of the circles or spheres on the tree is an aspect of our consciousness. So we have 12 aspects of our consciousness, numbering from 10 to 0. And then there is also the abyss right here, which is the 12th one. And each one is an aspect of our consciousness. Now for number 136, we're way up here at the 0 sphere above the tree. So this is where we're located here, 0. And the 0, what faculty of consciousness does 0 correspond to? Well, it corresponds to really kind of a lack of a lack of experience, a lack of being in the universe. It is nothingness. The first sphere is the all. It is everything. It is the whole universe. It is the creator. It is the higher self inside. The 0 sphere goes beyond all that, and it is nothingness. It's not part of the universe, and it is part of the creator. Okay, so it's the part of the universe, it's the part of reality that the creator reserves for itself. But it is, nothingness. And it is a total mystery. But it is something that we have indirect access to through the creator, because it is part of the creator. It has to do with the lack of emotions, lack of experience, really like the lack of anything. And also, the lack of emotions is really the inner peace, our ability to remain at peace regardless of the situation. And it has to do with kind of the rules of the game, the background, what's there, kind of what was contemplated before the whole universe even got started, if any. And it corresponds to numbers. We talked about this, I think, yesterday, where this is really the quadrivium, the ancient scholastic curriculum of, there was the trivium and the quadrivium. The trivium is logic, rhetoric, and grammar, but the quadrivium is a much greater vehicle of knowledge and wisdom, and that includes music, including sacred music, and then astronomy, including astrology, and then geometry, including sacred geometry, and arithmetic, or numbers, including numerology or harmonics. And so the zero sphere does correspond to numbers. Okay, so those are kind of the basics that are involved in the zero sphere. Now for number 136, we're talking about one of the 144 fractal faculties. So to get from 12 to 144, we're basically, squaring the number. We're taking it to the second power. So here we're taking the tree of life to the second power. We do that by taking the whole tree, shrinking it down to the size of just one sphere, and then applying it to each sphere. So we put a miniature tree on each one of the spheres, thereby breaking down each one of the spheres into its 12 parts. So we have 12 parts here, 12 parts here, 12 parts here, and so on, that add up to 144. So here at the zero sphere, we are also dividing this up into 12 parts. And number 136 corresponds to one of those parts. And which one? It corresponds to the third fractal within the zero sphere. Now, if we remember, the third fractal, not only does it correspond to music, but it corresponds to sound in general, and it corresponds to mantra, chanting mantra. Now, the third sphere is one of our three divine faculties: omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. So omnipotence is all powerful. We get our power by through the chanting or the sound synchronization, using synchronized sound, not as meaning, not as poetic poetry, but as power. Okay, you can think of this as being like the tennis player or the weightlifter or whatever, when they need that extra oomph that they need to put into that serve or to lift up that weight, they have to, or, you can also think of it as, when you're trying to relax. These sounds are primordial. They influence the physiology and really our bodies in ways that we that are not meaning, that have nothing to do with meaning. They have to do with strictly some kind of physical thing. So that is kind of where the third sphere is. The third sphere also, as omnipotence, it really corresponds to, here we have the seventh sphere. At the seventh sphere, we're really articulating, understanding and articulating, at least to ourselves, our higher purpose in life or a higher calling in life. And the third sphere is really what enables us to accomplish that. So when they talk about the seventh sphere, this is about inspiration. We get the inspiration to do our higher calling. But as Einstein said, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Well, then there's also this third sphere part, which is really kind of our way of choreographing and organizing our perspiration so that we, instead of having to, we don't have to put in like 999%. We just have to put in 99%. It just streamlines our our work toward that higher self. Okay, so for number 136, we're really looking at the combination of these two things, the third sphere within the overall context of this zero sphere nothingness. Here's number 136, 3stabilizes, 3characteristics, 3doors. Stage number 136 is about 3, which is created with 2 through the division by 5. 3 has multiple stabilizing functions. Exponents and logs are the third dimensional inverses, and e to the x power creates a curve that is identical and therefore stabilizing with its own rate of change, its slope, or its lower dimension. So that log, that exponent, locks us in to this stable e to the x. E is equal to 2.718, 2818. And that is a transcendental function. It's called the natural log. 3 balls are needed to make a two-dimensional triangle, the most stable figure. The rule of 3 is that if it adds up to a number that goes into 3, the number itself goes into 3 too, which leads to harmonics, which is mostly thought of as being something about 9, but 9 is 3 to the second power. We get the square root of 3 from the diagonal of a cube, also from the 60-degree angles of equilateral triangles. And 3 is the volume of a cube, which is 3 times the volume of a tetrahedron of the same side dimensions, edge dimensions. For a universe of motion, the rules stipulate that if we want to understand the true nature of things, directly perceive the 3 characteristics of all phenomena, which are unsatisfactoriness or lack of satisfactoriness, lack of self, and lack of permanence. If we investigate our experience, especially in meditation, we gain great insight once we can perceive these 3 characteristics. Again, lack of satisfactoriness, lack of self, and lack of permanence. These are the 3 characteristics of all phenomena. Our experiences cannot satisfy. They are not us, and not us, but something else. And they come and go, not lasting. These understandings greatly unencumber and catalyze our perception. And each of these open a door to enlightenment. To perceive them thoroughly and directly is to be awakened. These 3 doors to ultimate reality are unrelated to content and found in all content. Okay, So that is the third fractal of the zero sphere. 3stabilizes 3characteristics, 3doors. And a lot of that is, Buddhist teachings. And some of it is numerology. And then we got a little bit of, I suppose, I guess that's trigonometry. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you'd like a free copy of my guide to the 144 fractal faculties, just put your name and your email address in the description, in the comment section. I'll send it out to you. If you want to get a copy of my book, you can send $10 to me on Cash App or Venmo, which is listed in the description, and I'll send you a copy of the book. It's called The Mass Tree, and it is The Mass Tree, Reclaiming the Kabbalah from the Cabal. And then also stay tuned for future videos in this series. Number 137 will be coming up tomorrow, and we'll be branching off into some new topics coming up even before the end of the year. And but we want to first lay that foundation with the Tree of Life, because if we can get the Tree of Life and we can get it to automaticity where we really understand it deep down and like don't have to think about it, but we just know it, the same way that we know that 2 + 2 is 4. We don't have to think about it. It's part of us. If we can make the Tree of Life part of us, then it makes all the other subjects so much easier to understand. And on this channel, we are going to be learning some difficult subjects, subjects that are difficult by their very nature, and then some subjects that are difficult just because they require a great deal of unlearning. We have to unlearn all the crap we learned in high school and college and even elementary school. Because a lot of what we learned turned out to be just propaganda. So get your book, get your Tree of Life, The Mass Tree, and that will hopefully just get you motivated to really learn this stuff. And that's what it's really going to take for you to have success with Tree of Life. All right, now stay tuned for future videos in the series. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, that's it. All right, thanks.